Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have got it all for you guys today. We have got World War III, World War IV, conscription, migrant crisis, the shadows of conflict. They're growing dark, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they are. Look, guys, I'm going to be talking about what's happening in Ukraine. I'm also going to be talking about the migrant crisis. And for those of you guys who've been following me for a while, you guys know that I'm saying that this is World War III and World War IV, in the context that World War III is going to be international, fought by the Gen Zs, i.e., if you're under 30. Now, I don't know if that fits into that, or what is it? Not Occam's razor, Overton window. I don't know if that fits into that Overton window, but that's the reality. If you're under 30, you're going to be fighting World War III. If you're over 30, you're going to be fighting World War IV. World War IV is going to be fought simultaneously. Some could argue, me included, that World War IV has already started. And that's the war on our streets, ladies and gentlemen. But look, guys, breaking news from today, Vladimir Putin, the peace negotiations in Russia. I'm just going to give you a couple of headlines right now. Putin accused of wasting the world's time after rejecting Trump peace deal. You know, like, you guys can look back through my videos. You guys can look back through my videos when we've been talking, you know, when I've been talking about Ukraine, when I've been talking about the direction of travel, and I've been saying exactly, with no, you know, there's been no nuance in what I've been saying. I've been telling you guys exactly what's coming, exactly what's going to happen. Because people don't understand the culture. People don't understand the history of this nation of Russia. And when you send politicians who think, we're gonna give these Russians some good old-fashioned democracy. Look, guys, I love Americans. I do. And I identify myself as maybe even part American inside me. But look, I understand Russian culture. I believe I understand Vladimir Putin, where he comes from. But so the first part of this live stream, I'm going to talk about the World War III situation, how it's getting bad. We're going to be talking about the potential for conscription. And again, when I say conscription, guys, it probably won't be called conscription, but until it's announced, I don't know what else to say. It's either going to be mandatory military service, national service. They may even say conscription. I think that's unlikely, you know, or they may just force people. They may just destroy the economy so nobody's got any money, you know, and then they say, yeah, well, you know what? If you join the military, you get 3 meals a day and a free place to live, which honestly, guys, you know, that's going to sound attractive for some people. So this is, I'm just going to read a little. I've got a lot to get through this evening, guys. So I'm going to be going quite quick. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I've got a lot to get through. So I'm going from an article now from Sky News released this morning, 3rd of December. So why Putin won't agree to the latest Ukraine peace plan. And you know what really annoys me? Do you know what? It doesn't annoy me anymore, actually. It makes me, you know, let me get my beer. Oh, sorry, and let me put the chat on. Sorry, I do apologize, guys. Let me put the chat on. Sorry, guys, the chat's on now. The chat's on. So when we talk about, you know, when you guys see, look, guys, if it's regarding Ukraine, if it's regarding Eastern Europe, do not listen to anyone other than me unless they're saying exactly what I'm saying. Because these guys have no idea what they're talking about. You get these half-baked intellects who know nothing. Anyway, right. Sorry, guys. I do have a lot to get through. So why Putin won't agree to Ukraine's latest peace plan. There is, and I'm reading this from Sky News. There is no sign of a breakthrough in Ukraine peace talks after a lengthy meeting between... This is funny. You're going to laugh at this. After a lengthy meeting between Vladimir Putin and delegations sent by Donald Trump, and there are two major reasons why. So this is what this guy is saying. Now, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who he is. The Americans were. This is so funny. This is so Vladimir Putin, rather than get down to business and come to some sort of peace negotiation, it's so Eastern European, it's so Slavic, it's so Russian, it's unbelievable. Yes, Americans are coming for 2-day chat. Okay, Yuri, first day and a half, give them very VIP treatment. Take them round, give them lots of vodka. Yes, get them very drunk. Send girls, don't worry. First 2 days, no problem. I have 15 minutes, then I have pictures of them in compromising situations. Of course, I'm not saying that happened, guys. Of course, I'm not saying that happened. So the Americans were given the full VIP treatment to their visit to Moscow. There was a motorcade from the airport, a lunch at a Michelin-starred restaurant, and even a stroll around Red Square. It felt like Steve Wikitoff and Gerard Kushner were on more of a tourist trail than a path to peace. Of course, they're not on a path to peace because Putin is playing them. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are watching on YouTube, literally scroll up through my, or down, whichever way you do it, through my videos. I may even release this video again. You know, I did a video back in before Donald Trump was even elected. Can you guys remember when Donald Trump was saying, look, guys, and I love Donald Trump, I think he's great. When Donald Trump was saying, we're going to have a peace deal in Ukraine. We're going to do it within 24 hours. 24 hours. I'm not even going to wait to be inaugurated. As soon as I win that election, I'm going to phone Putin. I'm going to phone Putin. Little Putin, that's what I call him. He's a great guy. He's a great guy, a real strong leader, and I like him. I like Putin. I'm going to call Putin. We're going to have a peace deal. It's going to happen in 24 hours. How's that working out for you guys? Like, I don't know. How's that working out for you guys? How's that 24-hour peace deal working out? So they finally got to business in the Kremlin more than 6 hours after arriving in Russia. And look, guys, I've been in my government career. I've been on these meetings. You know, in fact, when the guys touched down, I would normally be one of the people who's already on the ground, and I would be in the reception part, and I'll say, hey, mate, look, this is where you go. This is what we're doing. These guys want this. You need that. This is going to go. I think this is the right way, the right action to take. And that would be my advisory skills to that person, and they may or may not take it. Anyway, so after they got down to business in the Kremlin, more than 6 hours after arriving in Russia, and at that point, it was already clear that the one thing they had come to Moscow for wasn't on offer. It wasn't on offer, guys, okay? According to Vladimir Putin, it's all Europe's fault. So this is how it works. The article's big, and I don't have time to get through it, guys, because I've got so much to get through. So I'm just going to give you guys what I told you back in, over a year ago, what I told you guys in October 2024. Go and look for it. Go and look for the video on my YouTube. How Putin will play Trump. Trump will get played by, I think it's how Putin will play Trump. Yes, of course, we would like to come to peace negotiation, and we want lasting peace in Ukraine, but we have red lines, and the Russian military has very vast, we have lots of ethnic Russians in Donbass region, and we want to look after ethnic Russians. They don't care. Well, we want to look after ethnic Russians in Donbass region, so if you give us proposal, then on a written paper, then we can look through it with our interpreting team, and we can figure this out, because when we are talking, maybe things get lost in translation. And then the Americans, okay, Billy Job, we got that. JD, they want it written down in English for them to translate, so nothing get lost in translation. Yeah, okay, man, I'm just putting my eyeliner on. Okay, Vladimir, we'll get that to you, buddy. We'll get that to you real quick. Yes, of course. Hey, Vladimir, it's been 2 weeks. We not heard anything from you. Yes, of course. We are looking through proposal, but we are difficulty with some words and different, perhaps interpretation of words. Would it be possible to schedule another meeting to understand? And they just drag things out. I've done business with these people, guys. I've done business with these people. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. So the situation in Ukraine is literally developing by the hour, guys. The situation in Ukraine is developing by the hour. Right, guys, I'm going to jump up. I'm going to get some comments, and then I'm going to jump on to World War III because, yes, good sirs, ladies and gentlemen, World War III is about to start. Here we go. Googly is saying live YouTube, Sky News. Oh, guys, listen, right, I don't want to do the live Trump announcements. The last time we did a live Trump announcement, it was an epic fail. It was an epic fail. But if there's anything relevant, I will obviously be talking about that. The Loop is saying coalition of the winning or willing will get us in World War III, but not... The Loop, 87544HHHG. You, good sir, are a clever man. That is exactly what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. The Americans are going to be nowhere to be seen. And look, guys, I'm going to be quite clear. I think quite rightly so as well. I think quite rightly so. I don't think this is a conflict for the Americans. I don't think this is a conflict for the Americans. We literally, guys, we are looking at a continent-wide war. And I'm going to call it now. It's a continent-wide war that we cannot win. And I'm not being defeatist. I'm not being defeatist. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the numbers here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm saying to you guys that right now, as NATO is structured, without forcing thousands, hundreds of thousands of migrants to go forwards as conscripts, without doing that, we ain't going to win, guys. We ain't going to win. Right, let me give you guys... in fact, let me get the bottom comments. Donna Prepper is saying the sun, war across a continent, and Putin says he's ready for World War III with Europe now. How Tyrant could launch attack and the signals he'll be about to strike. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching my channel, I've been telling you guys about this months ago. Months and months and months ago. Right, let me jump on my... let me jump onto my opening monologue, guys, because I've got quite a bit I need to get through today. Right, where are we? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try and keep this quick because what I say right now, it's probably going to be out of date in like a couple of hours, maybe even this hour, you know, because this situation is moving so fast. The situation is moving so fast, guys, all right? So as I'm giving you guys this this update on, what is it? When is it Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? The 3rd of December, whatever day it is, I don't even know. As I'm giving you this update right now on the 3rd of December, 2025, this information is correct, okay? And I'm just going to rattle through this as quickly as possible because don't forget, we have got a migrant crisis that people seem to be forgetting about, and it's phenomenal. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me have some beer. Ladies and gentlemen, as the shadows of conflict lengthen across Europe, once again, we find ourselves in the United Kingdom staring down the barrel of a new era of uncertainty. One where the ghosts of the Cold War seem to stir the frostbite steppes of Ukraine. Just yesterday, the world watched in dismay as Vladimir Putin brushed aside the olive branch extended by Vladimir Trump. Maybe it should be called Vladimir Trump. By President Trump's latest peace envoy, accused by Ukrainian Foreign Minister and by our own Home Secretary Yvette Cooper of nothing less than wasting the world's time. They're the headlines that are out this right now, guys. They're the headlines that you guys can find on Sky News or wherever you guys want to find them. Putin has rejected yet another iteration of a deal that could have stopped the bleeding and the bloodshed in Ukraine. No breakthroughs have come from Moscow. No compromise on territory. Just more blustering, more threats. Russia is ready for war if Europe so much as attempts it. It's a stark reminder that the man in the Kremlin isn't interested in peace. He's playing for keeps, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't playing for compromise. Like I've said from day one of this conflict, ladies and gentlemen, when you've got all these, all these commentators who are just regurgitating information from the mainstream. I understand this culture, and there is no way that Putin wants anything less than the whole of Ukraine. And I would say he won't stop until he's got the whole of Ukraine. This is me, guys, all right? This is me. Best case scenario, like the minimum standards for Putin would be the whole of Ukraine, including Lviv, and a huge demilitarization zone through Poland. That's my professional opinion, guys. So if you guys were a government state or something, or like governmental advice, the government, and you guys were paying me, if you guys were paying me to come in and give you guys my analysis, that is what I would say. That is the minimum requirement for Putin. The whole of Ukraine, because don't forget, Russia needs Ukraine. He needs the resources. He needs the minerals. He needs the manpower. He needs the machinery. He needs the factories. He needs the intellectual know-how on how to build those, how to operate those factories. But Vladimir Putin, he's playing for keeps. He's dragging us all towards the abyss of another WW. The half-baked diplomats. I mean, let's be clear, guys. Let's be really clear. If you guys saw my CV and saw Yvette Cooper's, and you guys were to choose who you would prefer, who you think would be more competent dealing with the Russians, it would probably, and it was a national vote, I'd probably win like by 90%. I reckon I would win 90%, because Yvette Cooper is not qualified. She's not qualified, guys. She ain't qualified to deal with Putin. She ain't qualified to deal with the Russians. She ain't smart enough. And I mean, no disrespect to her, but she's not smart enough. And she's a woman, and she's a small woman. And, and I mean, no disrespect to small women. When you operate in that part of the world, they respect strength. They respect, they respect a strong man. Like, I would go in there. I would walk into that meeting, and the first day, I'd probably have a fight with their security guys. Do you know why I'd have a fight with their security guys? So they know not to fuck with me. And then the second day I went in for the meeting and everything was calmed down, I'd have another fight with the security guys. And then the third time I went in for the meeting, they'd be like, fuck me, this guy is a psychopath. Just give him what he wants. And that's how you have to deal with these people. That's literally how you have to deal with these people. Yes, I'd take a few black eyes. I would. I'd take a few black eyes. It's nothing I've not had before, but that's how I would deal with that. Do you think Yvette Cooper's going to go in there and throw left, right, left hook? Probably not. Now, against all this grim backdrop, whispers from Whitehall have turned into a thunderous revelation. The Ministry of Defence have been talking about British troop deployment into Ukraine. And they have been talking about this 800,000 NATO troops into Ukraine. And this is part of a German war strategy or something. I'll come on to it in a bit. But 800,000 troops, guys, it kind of like, it's all, when you're looking at all this stuff now, you say, oh yeah, now they need 800,000. Okay, so now it makes sense that the Germans are not doing conscription, but mandatory military medical. And if they don't get the numbers, it's going to be mandatory military service. And it makes sense why the Polish are having the biggest military and civilian exercises that they've ever had. And it makes sense now why the French are floating this idea. And again, guys, listen, I've told you guys my date when I think this is going to, I've told you guys when I think this is going to happen. So as we are right now, guys, okay, the government lips are sealed on operational secrets, and of course they are. And before we get onto this, guys, okay, let's not think that British troops are not already deployed into Ukraine. We know they are. We know there are already British troops in Ukraine. You only have to walk into go on. You only have to walk into if you guys want to look on Google Earth or Google Maps or whatever, if you look at the city centre of Kiev, if you look at the British Embassy, it's on Google Maps. If you search British Embassy Kiev, that is on, do you know what? I can't remember what road it's on. It's near the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And if you look to the west, there's a street called Vladimirská Straße. And then if you look south of that street, you get to Maidan. But just down from Maidan, there is on Khreshchatyk, there's another street called Mikhailevska Straße. Now, on Mikhailevska Straße, there is a pub called O'Brien's. Now, Friday night, if you want to find British soldiers on a Friday night, just go to that pub, guys. Literally, go to that pub. It's full. It's wild. It's called O'Brien's. You go to O'Brien's and it's just full of Brits. It's fucking crazy. So, of course, the British military are already operating in Ukraine. So, you see, okay, this isn't just what we're talking about right now. It's not people rattling sabers. It's the logical endpoint of a world where Putin's gamble in Ukraine has exposed everybody's fragilities. We have poured billions into Ukraine. We have guys who poured absolutely billions into Ukraine. Watched as hybrid threats, drones over the Baltic, sabotage in ports, potentially sabotage in the United Kingdom, chip away at the peace that we took for granted. We did, guys. We took the peace dividend for granted, which brings me to what I truly believe, guys. I truly believe that, watching all these storm clouds gather, and you can, guys, let me know in the chat. Can you, I know you can. Watching these, I should have had this as the thing, shouldn't I? Storm clouds gather. Watching these storm clouds gather. This is my opinion, my speculation, my analysis, all right? From you guys sending me messages as well. It's not just me. I've had a few of you guys talking to me saying, I've had a few, I get quite a few people message me with people in the military and they tell me stuff that they probably shouldn't. And I'm always, I would never repeat the information that they've told me. I would always try and, skirt around it. But from what you guys have been telling me, from my own personal analysis, I would say that by February or in February, mid to late February 2026, I may be wrong, and it doesn't even matter at this point, guys. It doesn't even matter at this point whether I'm right or wrong. But by February 2026, the United Kingdom will have no choice, but to announce some sort of conscription, mandatory military service, national service. Again, it doesn't matter, So, Sean, you said it was going to be conscription. It's actually an increase in pay for new recruits. And anybody that's 18 that doesn't join the military, they're not allowed to have a driving license or a banking account. I'm like, yeah, okay, mate. Yeah, okay. So by February, there's going to have to be some sort of announcement where they're going to have to say they need to get more people into the military. The strategic defense review that was out earlier on this year all but telegraphs it. It all but tells it. I quote: "We must bulk up, train up, gear up for the long haul." Then on my words, guys, that was in the Strategic Defense Review that was released, I think was it June? I think June, I can't remember, June or July. So like I always say, guys, you know, all this information, it's already out there. You know, you just need to know where to look. The clock is ticking, ladies and gentlemen. February will tell. It will. February will tell. And when it does or does not, you know, I think Generation Z, guys, I think they're going to step up to the plate. And it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility as not being Generation Z to deal with World War IV. Because I don't want our young boys and girls going away to a conflict on an industrial scale and coming back to no country. I want the people of this country to rise up and say, look, you guys are going away to fight. We're going to make sure there's a country worth coming back to. Which leads me on to the migrant crisis, guys. The migrant crisis is growing every day, guys. It is. Let me get some chat and then I'll jump on something. Right, let me jump up, guys. Generation Z will treat it like a game of COD. Generation Z is the last letter on this. Look, guys, I'm going to be quite clear. All right? I've had a lot of negativity for saying this. I will happily put all my chips in the basket with Generation Z. You know, they're going to be the wartime generation, guys. They are. They're going to be the wartime generation that make everything deal with it. That make everything deal with. That didn't even make sense. That deal with everything. Gen Z don't know whether they're boys or girls. Ladies and gentlemen, watch Gen Z fly. Watch them fly, guys. Listen, we'll leave it there. All right, we'll leave it there. All right, I don't want to get into arguments with people saying that the younger generation. I have all faith in the younger generation. I do. I have faith in the younger generation. Yeah, Googly is saying you're allowed to have HIV now in the army. Can you imagine being a medic? When I joined the military, one of the things where you weren't allowed to have you have to have like tests all the time when you're in the military to make sure you've got no blood diseases or anything, because you can imagine, you know, you're out there on the front line operating, doing some sort of shit. Blood's everywhere. You don't want to infect other people. You know, you don't want to infect other people. Right, guys, listen, I've got so much to get through. This evening. Let me, right, we're going to be talking. I want to jump now onto the migrant crisis. And it is a crisis, you know, nobody can deny it's a crisis. So, you know, I think they're calling them irregular crossings of the British Channel in small boats. It's just going up and up, guys. You know, it's going up and up. These are predominantly from countries like Afghanistan, Syria, Eritrea, Sudan, Ethiopia. You guys know the countries, right? You guys know the countries. Now, there's a lot going on at the moment out there. You know, there's a lot going on. Guys, listen, just like in the chat. Listen, guys, in the chat. Do you think I need to go out there and do some reporting out there? Do you think I should do some guys, do you guys think I should go out there and do some reporting out there in northern France? Because I remember talking about this. I remember talking and saying, look, I'm quite confident I can close these gangs down. You know, and there's all those guys, you know, there's all those guys going out there. And, you know, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, I used to be stationed in Dover. I've got a lot of friends in Dover, a lot of ex-military friends in Dover. I know that, you know, I know that route very, very well. And I'm just thinking, you know, should I go down to Dover? Should I go down to Dover, go over get the ferry over and just see what's happening, you know, as a real time? Because I've seen these guys, what is it, like Danny Tomo and the Raise the Colours guys. Look, guys, let me be clear. All right, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I think they're doing an absolutely fantastic job. I just feel like I should go out there and just see what's happening. You know, I just feel like I should go out there and see what's happening. Galloway Raider is saying, Sean, you're just looking at an excuse for a holiday. I don't think Cali is a holiday, guys. I don't think Cali is a holiday. Band again is saying, yes, if you go, we should go. We should go. Do you know what, actually? Do you know what? I've got a friend who's got my mate's mum's got a friend in there. Should I phone him up? I'm going to phone my... Hang on. I'm going to phone my mate up. He's got... Do you mind if I phone my friend? Right, my friend's mum's got a house in France. And I think he speaks French as well. Let me see. Do you know what? We should just go. We should just go. I'm going to phone him up now. I'm phoning him up now. He might not answer. He might not answer. I might have to phone him up later.
Yo.
Rob.
Yo.
Right, don't say anything incriminating, mate. You're on a live stream.
Oh, okay, man.
Has your mum still got that house in France?
Yeah, just sold it, pal.
She sold it?
Yeah.
Ah. Do you speak French?
A little bit.
You...
To be fair, I do need to go, mate, 'cause I need to get some stuff at some point.
So, you need to go to France?
I do at some point, mate, yeah, 'cause I need to bring some of the stuff back.
Do you want to go? Do you want to go to France and look at this this migrant crossing stuff? Like, it would just literally just getting some content and like trying to find out what's actually going on.
How long will it take?
I don't know, mate. How long's a piece of string? We'll go. I mean, as quickly as possible. I think. I mean, I've got no reason to hang about as long as we get we could go to France. I mean, how do you get over there?
No, I just drive.
And how many times have you done that?
About 3 or 4.
What, you get the ferry?
Yeah. To get to my move, it probably takes about 24 hours, you know.
Oh, and where do you sail to?
Well, go to Dover and then go over to Cali and then just start bombing down France.
Don't say bombing. Right, hang on. Let me just give me a second. Right, so I'm literally on a live stream now. Let me share. I'm just going to share this screen with everyone. So I'm just looking at Google Maps now, and let me share this screen. So to Calais. So you go from Dover to Calais. Now I've been hearing there's a lot of stuff happening in Dunkirk, which I'm assuming that's like 30 miles to the west. Have you ever been to Dunkirk?
I haven't been to Dunkirk, no, but yeah, I reckon it's about 30 minutes from Calais, isn't it, something like that?
Well, when can you go?
We could try a weekend if you want.
What, this weekend?
Yeah.
What, like this week, like the 5th or whatever?
What is it, Friday? I can do Friday.
What, this Friday?
Yeah, if you can do that, because it takes a long time, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
Are you winding me up?
No, Friday.
Don't wind. Seriously, we're gonna go. You can speak French.
Seriously, we will go Friday.
You can speak French.
A little. I can get by. I can understand. It depends on their accent.
Oui, surrender.
So it's a bit like UK. I mean, it's
Yeah.
different accents per region, like.
Right, we'll go. We'll go on Friday.
All right, then, pal.
I don't know what I'm getting myself into here.
No, me neither. But we can call. But I do need to. I'm conscious of time. We do need to travel there and travel back.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll go to Calais. Look, listen, I'm making this up on the spot. We'll go to Calais. We'll go to Calais. We'll go to Calais on day one, and I'm just making this up on the spot, mate. We'll go to Calais day one. We'll try and find a hotel or whatever day one, whatever time we get there. I don't know. We'll then try and make a trip on day two to Dunkirk. We'll try and find where these, if we can, try and find where these migrant camps are. And, what I'm thinking straight away is, get as much information on these as possible. And maybe, like, if we could potentially meet up with those guys that are already out there, that would be, we'll just see what happens.
I'm fine with that, but I do need to get down to southern France back before Monday.
Okay, whatever. Right, okay, right. I'll ring you tomorrow. We'll go and get some supplies, and we'll go on Friday.
All right, mate.
Right, I'll see you later, mate.
Bye.
So, like in many things in life, guys, a good story never started sober. A good story never started sober, guys. Okay, so we're going to France. Yeah, and I did it live, so I can't back out of it now. Okay, well, listen, guys. Let me talk about this. Let's talk about the migrant crisis then. So, looks like we're going to be going down there on Friday. It does. Looks like we're going to be going down there on Friday. So, I'm going to talk about the migrant crisis a little bit. So, the United Kingdom's migrant crisis, particularly the irregular crossings in the English Channel, has soared. It's soared, guys. It has absolutely soared. And it doesn't seem like we can deport these people from, it doesn't seem like we can get rid of these people from the United Kingdom. And that's why I'm so key. Like, if we want to stop the boats, we need to stop them at source. We need to stop the boats at source, ladies and gentlemen. There's no point. We've tried it. It's failed. It's not working. There's no point waiting till they get to the United Kingdom, waiting till they're in their hotel and they're nice and full, and then saying, oh, do you mind quite possibly leaving our country? Because we're paying quite a lot of money for you. No, we need to stop them at source, guys. So I want to go down there. I am going down there. I want to go down there and see for myself how bad this situation is. Now, since 2018, there have been since 2018, there have been at least 100 recorded deaths in the British Channel. That's at least 100. Now, it doesn't seem like it's a win for anyone. It doesn't seem like this is a win for anyone. Now, there's obviously public frustration, claims of criminality, like alleged killers, rapists, war criminals making their way over the channel because they throw their passports and they get a free start in the United Kingdom. There have been allegations of those type of people making it into the United Kingdom. Now, the situation is getting worse, and I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. So northern France, especially around the areas we've just been talking about there, Calais and Dunkirk, host the, these encampments where transitioning? I don't think that's the right word. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The migrants that are transitioning from, I don't know, basically migrant camps, transitional migrant camps, that serve as staging points, I guess, for channel crossings. Now, I don't know. I've not seen this, guys, but I'm told that there are NGOs helping these people, giving them food, water, and fuel. These micro camps emerged after the 2016 demolition of the infamous Calais jungle. And I think that Calais jungle had like 10,000 or something. I don't know. You guys are going to have to check that yourself. But that was destroyed in 2016. So now what you have is all these micro camps. Now, France's policy is aiming to prevent fixed settlements instead of resolving the issue. Now, look, guys, if the French really wanted to deal with this, They put a ring of steel and they say, right, you're not getting to the United Kingdom. It ain't happening. And that'd stop people coming. It would. It'd stop people coming. But unfortunately for the French, well, not unfortunately for the French, fortunately for the French, no, unfortunately for the French, those people would then be stuck in France. And I don't think the French want those people in France. So that's why the French are obviously letting these people, letting these people move along. So that's the situation right now, guys, and we have, the French camps are, these French camps directly feed the UK crossings. I think the French police try evictions to scatter people, but it doesn't really help. It doesn't really help. It's like elections in the United Kingdom. Doesn't really help. It doesn't really help. So there's been a lot of money given to France. There's been a lot of money. And it just doesn't seem to do anything, to the stage where we are at today, ladies and gentlemen, where we literally have people, me included, going over there and trying to do what they can with their own money. The situation's wild, ladies and gentlemen. The situation is wild. I just want to leave it with this. President Macron blames the United Kingdom. He does. He says the UK, President Macron blames the United Kingdom for the benefit system. And he says, if you take away the benefits, the camps would vanish. So if we got strong with these people in the United Kingdom and said, no, you come to the United Kingdom, you don't get anything. You get it's quite hostile for you. They wouldn't come. That's what President Macron's saying, guys, not me. I don't want to get the police knocking at my door. I'm quoting President Macron. If you've got a problem, go and speak to President Macron. So Macron is saying it's the UK benefit system that gives too much. And, if we stop giving so much out, they wouldn't keep coming. And look, guys, whether you think they give too much out or not, we all heard the statistic from yesterday or the day before. You need to earn £71,000 per year. If you have 3 children, you need to earn £71,000 per year to equal someone that doesn't work. So, I do think there's, I'm not a big fan of Macron, but I do think there is some, I don't think there's a kernel of truth in what he's saying. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I need to go to the toilet. I really do. I've had far too many beers. Never, a good story never starts with a salad. Right, guys, I need to go to the toilet. I'll be straight back. Give me a second. And I am back. Yes, I am. I'm back. Right, let's jump up and get some chat, and then I've got a few more things to talk to you guys. Graham Bryan is saying the migrants send videos of their lush life for free. They won't stop. And do you know what? Yeah, exactly. Look, guys, Graham, I've said this quite a few times, I've said this quite a few times. Can you imagine, all right? Can you imagine you're there in, like, I don't know, whatever country, South Sudan, Eritrea, Democratic Republic of Congo, that's not democratic and it's not a republic. You know, can you imagine you're there, right, in some faraway third world country, right? And you've got no food, you're struggling to feed yourself. You have to choose between getting a bottle of water or, you know, a bag of rice, or I don't know how these people roll. And then your mate, I don't know, your mate who left for the UK 2 months ago, he sends you a WhatsApp and he's like, and he's doing these sorts, you know, he's like, mate, look what I've got here. I've got a hotel. I've got all this food. I've got water. All my medical problems, they're dealing with it. It's like white man's magic. I'm in a white man's magical paradise, you know. I've got food, water, medicine. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And what's that guy going to do? Like, what is that guy going to do? Is he going to say, oh, yeah, do you know what? But the British taxpayers are paying. I'm not coming. No, is he? Fuck, he's going to come, isn't he? He's going to come. He's going to, you know, he's going to come. And, you know, and when he's on the phone to his mate, he's saying, well, what are they doing to you out there? He says, well, worst case scenario, they send me back home with 30 grand. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, if my asylum case fails, they'll give me 30 grand and send me home. And he's like, hang on a minute, but the annual salary here is only $500 a year. He's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, so you're telling me if I come to the United Kingdom, the worst case scenario is I get sent back home with 60 years pay. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. I mean, first of all, he probably wouldn't believe them, you know, but that's the deterrence, you know, because some of these places in Africa, they do, they like, maybe even if it's 1,000, whatever, you know, even if it's 1,000, even if it's $1,000 a year, you know, well, obviously, you know, prices are different, you know, so tell me how that's a deterrent. It's not a deterrent. These people are just going to keep coming more and more and more. Stephen Clarks is saying, yes, go to France as soon as. Stephen, I listen, I'm pretty drunk at the moment. I'm not going to lie, and I've just agreed to it, so. Right, let me jump up against some. Donna is saying, sorry, guys, listen, guys, I can see the chat going up. I do apologize if I'm not getting everyone on the chat. Donna is saying, the Independent House Democrats post, yeah, I've seen that. I mean, look, you can see the low, like, you can see the low with Epstein Island, can't you? Like, you can see that low. Like, you know, if you're there, right, you know, you're there and, just imagine, right? You are a new politician in America, right? And Jeffrey Epstein comes over and he's like, hey, mate, do you want to come to my island? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, we've got like barbecues. We've got, you know, lots of young girls coming over, you know, and we do, you know, it's just a nice little place to get to. Like, who's going to say no to that? And that's how they get you, you know, that is obviously how they get you, you know, and then you do something with one of these, you know, girls who is of questionable age. There's video cameras in, you know, there's video cameras in the room and everything. And it, you know, once they get you in that, once they get you in that cycle, you can't get out of it, guys. You cannot get out of it. Googly is saying Colombia warns it's on the brink of war with the US as Colombian president hits back at Donald Trump. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, you know, the Colombians saying they're going to have a war with the United States, I feel embarrassed for them. Right, I'm going to jump down, guys. There's lots of comments. Right, hang on. Let me jump. Do you know what? I'm not going to jump down. I'm going to jump further up because I can see there's been lots of comments. Sean, do you ever think the UK will become how it once was? Oh God, Donna, what a question! What a question to ask me on a Wednesday night. Okay. It could. It could. But, you know, it could. It could. I've been very negative about Farage. I've been very negative. You know, I've not been negative about Farage. I've been negative about reform. But the more I think about it, the more I think I should just go with my initial instinct. So for you guys who've been like, you know, you guys have been following me for a while. You know, let me try and find a picture of me. There's other people in there. You know, I've met Nigel Farage. I'm not going to say I was best mates with him. I'm not going to say I was best mates with him. But I do feel that I'm a good judge of character. I do. You know, I don't feel that. People pay me to be a judge of character. And people bring me along to very high profile business meetings because I look at people and I say yeah or nay. And I would absolutely say yes to Nigel Farage. Now, he may be one of the people, you know, he may have pulled the wool over my eyes. I don't think he did. He was being very down to earth. He was being very genuine, very articulate, very intelligent. So I think and you see there's this spark between him and Rupert Lowe. And honestly, guys, there's so much more at play here that I can't talk about. There's so much more at play here I can't talk about, and it all comes where, it all comes about funding and where people are getting their money from. You know, so I do think if we have any chance, it would be with a it would be with a Farage Prime Minister and a Robert Jenrick Deputy Prime Minister, or vice versa. I don't really think it matters at this point. Bandagain is saying Farage will build up the forces. What forces do we mean? What forces do we mean? I talked about the military forces. Listen, guys, I think we're going to be well into World War III before Farage even gets a sniff at election. Googly is saying Romanian military forces destroy Ukrainian Sea Baby drone in Black Sea. Oh, that's interesting. So for those of you guys who don't know, everybody talks about the Ukrainian drones, like these ones and mainly these ones. Now, what people don't talk about as much is the underwater drones. So the Ukrainians have a massive, and they've really have taken that on, taken that onto their own. So basically, the Ukrainians now have these drones that sit just below the water, so they're like submarines essentially, but they're not. Well, they are. I know they are submarines because they're submersing. So they have these drones that sit just below the water. And as a communication system, they have a Starlink dish. So, you know, Elon Musk's Starlink Wi-Fi, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? They have a Starlink dish to communicate with. So they can use Starlink to very slowly move those drones. And it's like a very slow moving cruise torpedo, actually, and they're very hard to mitigate against. Red Wolf, hello, Red Wolf. How are you today, Red Wolf? Red Wolf is saying, Sean, Russia and US peace talks went south yesterday. Russia says they are ready for war now. Yeah, I spoke about this in my opening monologue. I spoke about this in my opening monologue. It was always going to go that way, you know, and all these like half-baked politicians who think that it's not going to go. Look, guys, anybody that thinks that we are not heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale, that's fine. But you know what? We're in a global conflict on an industrial scale. Don't say I didn't warn you. The peace talk, in fact, let me have a look at the map, actually. Let me have a look at the map. Where are we? There we are. Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys. I'm gonna share with you guys the map now. So what are we talking about? I'm gonna talk about Ukraine for a couple of minutes. I'm then gonna go on to a few things that have been happening in the United Kingdom. So, for those of you guys who don't know, this town here, Pokrovsk. This is what everybody's fighting over at the moment. Now, the Russians are doing the pincer movement. Yeah, the pincer movement. Don't be getting excited, girls. Don't be getting excited. The pincer movement is a military strategy where you come from the north and you come from the south at the same time. Encircling your target city, town, settlement, or whatever. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Now, for those of you guys who've been following me for a while, I always refer back to this war map. You've got Ukraine and Poltava, Kharkiv, Dnipro, Kremenchuk, and I just want to focus in on this point here, guys. Okay, so this was the situation on the ground yesterday. Sorry, on the 1st. The map's always 24 hours behind. So I'm going to show you guys what the Russians took in the last 24 hours. Now, I know it doesn't look like much. You know, doesn't look like much. So we've got this aspect here. So they've moved up to the road in this little aspect northwest of Pokrovsk, and they've moved further north from the east of Pokrovsk as well. So that's where they've moved, and they've also taken these little bits here. Now, again, you know, it doesn't look like much. But when it's every day, day in, day out, there's no stopping the Russians. Now, again, you know, I've said this loads of times. I can remember this town here, Voldaher, when they came from the north, came from the south. I remember when the Russians took that. I was talking to you guys about it. I remember then when they was in Velyka and Novosilka, they came from the north, came from the south. And now we're talking about Pokrovsk. So the Russians are gaining battle discipline. They're gaining, well, I guess maybe not, you know, they are gaining battle discipline, actually. They're gaining battlefield knowledge. They're gaining discipline. They understand how their tactics and strategy work, and they're working together. Here in NATO, we don't even have the manpower to fight them yet. So how is that manpower supposed to meet that, how is that manpower supposed to meet that conflict? I believe so, yes. Donna Jenkins is saying, and this, I think this was the plan all along, Donna. You know, Donna Jenkins is saying, if we go to war, can't Starmer refuse to call an election? Okay, so first of all, I don't know. I would say there would be a strong argument to cancel the elections if we are in a state of war. You know, if we're in a state of war, that's what I would say. That's what I say. I don't know, but I do think there is a strong argument for cancelling the elections. Right, let me just give you guys something real quick because nobody's talking about this at all. So there's another problem brewing at the moment, and there has been, look guys, I'm just going to rattle through this really quickly. there's a water outage actually in Tunbridge Wells in Kent. Now this has been, you know, so Tunbridge Wells has been experiencing a major water major water supply disruption since Saturday, I think it was the 29th of November, so quite a while ago now. The issue stems from a bad batch of like chemicals or something that they put into the treatment works. Now, again, it doesn't really matter what, how, when, why. I'm not saying that this is sabotage. I'm not saying this is sabotage yet. What I will say is previously I've warned about stuff being poured into the water, which is what has happened here. Now, we don't know what's happened. We don't know what's happened. And I need to be clear, guys, all right? I'm not saying it's sabotage. I'm not saying it's sabotage. I'm saying that I've warned about this sort of stuff with sabotage. I've got no information to say it's sabotage, okay? Other than my spider sensors. Now, this outage is into its 5th day as of like what we're on today, 3rd of December. Now, due to a reoccurrence of the water problems and, you know, the refilling of the network, you know, the Southeast Water have issued a boil water notice. Like, can you imagine that, guys? Can you imagine? And these people are still paying full price for their water. You know, it's ridiculous. So there's, as I understand it right now, the company have deployed emergency measures, and they've got, I think they've got 3 bottled water distribution centers. I don't know where they are. But there's 3 water bottle distribution centers in that region. Now, what I'm getting to you guys is, as this continues, and I don't know if this is the beginning, guys. I don't know if this is the beginning, all right? As this continues, day on, day on, day on, they're going to run short of those water bottles, because whether you believe it or not, we do not have an infinite supply of water, of bottled water in the United Kingdom. We don't. We just don't have it. Now, if something else happens, you know, if something else happens and there's another situation very soon in and around that area, or, you know, it doesn't even matter if it's in and around that area, because I think these water bottles will be coming from a centralized location. But if that does happen, I will really start to think about that this is actual sabotage. Let me be quite clear. I'm not saying it's sabotage right now, guys. I'm not. I'm not saying this is sabotage. Now, I just want to throw to you guys why it's so important that everybody needs to keep water in their houses. You know, work on 3 liters of water per person per day as a minimum. Now, water is absolutely fundamental. It's essential for like staying alive, cleaning, cooking, dissolving stuff, you know, fighting fires. You know, it's all sorts of stuff you need water for. The reason I do harp on quite a lot about water is because I was stuck in a house in northeast Syria. What was it called? Kobani? No, not Kobani. Not Kobani. I can't remember. I can't remember where it was. Anyway, I was Ainisa. It might have been Ainisa. I was stuck in a house in Ainisa. It doesn't matter. Amuda. The town was called Ahmuda. That was the town, guys, 100%, Ahmuda. I was stuck in a house in Ahmuda, which is northeast Syria, right on the Turkish-Syria border. And I had 2 liters of water. And that's all I had for 24 hours. Now, I literally drank that in like, I don't know, like maybe like a couple of hours. Honestly, the psychological problems when you don't know when the next water's coming, it's unbelievable, guys. And let's not forget that much of our water infrastructure in the United Kingdom is over 150 years old. And the way the water system is set up in the United Kingdom, there's no incentive for those people to reinvest our money that we pay them. There's no incentive for them to refurbish that water system with the money that we're paying them to refurbish that water system, because they want to, you know, a lot of these people are international investors, and they just want to get as much money out of the United Kingdom as possible, you know. So this is happening right now. Look, guys, and I need to be quite clear. I'm not calling it sabotage at all. I'm not calling it sabotage. I make some good beer, guys. I do. I make the best beer. Googly is saying very high terror threats at Christmas markets in European countries. Yeah, that's just the new part. That's just the new world that we are living in, guys. That's the new world we're living in. Donna is saying, do not drink tap water. Notice for 34 properties, elevated physical chemical anomalies. Right, I want to find out what that means. Physical chemical anomalies. I want to find out what physical chemical anomalies mean. Physiochemical anomalies, right. Physiochemical anomalies are deviations from expected or normal physical and chemical Jesus Christ! Such as unusual changes in density, conductivity, or guys. No. Okay, this is a lot more. This is a lot more, guys. This is a lot more than we're being told right now. This is a lot more than we're being told right now. Physiochemical anomalies are deviations from expected or normal physical chemical properties, such as unusual changes in density or conductivity. That makes, or water contamination. Elevated physiochemical anomalies in water supply can indicate contamination from sources like, cross connections between different water systems. Offshore activities in areas with offshore carbon storage models can show localized anomalies like spikes in PCO2. I don't know what that would be. Maybe pressure of CO2, I don't know. And decrease in pH, which can be influenced by factors such as tides. I mean, look, we all turn the tap on, right? We do. We all turn the tap on. Shh. We all turn the tap on and expect clean water to come out. You know, when I go to Kiev, and I'm at my friend's house, he's got like he's got a well in his garage. Actually, he's got a well in his garage. So you drive the car in, and right in the middle, he's got like a manhole, and he's got a well there, and he pumps his own water out, and it goes into like a big tank, like a big round tank, and then it goes into like a more like a long gas tank or something, and then there's these three little filters that it goes through. And you know, when I come back from Kiev after drinking water, you know, like self-purified water, and I drink water, it just tastes dirty, and I'm like, that's, you know, it's horrible. Lisa Jane is saying, I bought a water tester and Stoke-on-Trent water from my tap was $4.83. It's undrinkable at 500. Well, it's not undrinkable then, is it? It's still drinkable. Still drinkable, guys. It's still drinkable. Templar Matt is saying you should also always filter your water. They only now it's undrinkable. It's when people get sick. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start to close this down now. The crux of this live stream has been the World War. I mean, look, guys, I'm just going to read through some of the headlines here before I close this down. Right, I'm going to read these headlines. So this is a headline. This is an article from The Express, which was released, I think, today at 10:43. So this was released today, 10:43, British troops could be used in World War III plan, sending 800,000 soldiers to the front line. The logistics are mind-boggling on that, guys. Sending 800, and now it makes sense, doesn't it? We're being drip-fed this information. It makes sense now, doesn't it? You know, first the Germans, actually first the Polish, then the Germans, now the French. I'm speculating Britain in February. Putin accused of wasting the world's time after rejecting Trump's peace plan. Why Putin won't agree to the latest Ukraine peace deal. You know, and you guys can see this move forward. You guys can see the steps. And like I keep saying, guys, okay, at some point, it really isn't going to matter. It's not going to matter who did what or when or why. It's not going to matter that Trump said this or Keir Starmer was with these rent boys or David Lammy had Velcro in his trainers. None of it's going to matter, guys. None of it's going to matter because we are all going to be in the shit. We're all going to be in the shit. We're going to have to deal with it ourselves. We are going to have to deal with it ourselves. And the government will be going, yes, it's because we did that. I'm like, no, the best thing the government can do is nothing. And I always say this, you know, the best thing the government can do right now is nothing. Just don't do anything. Stop raising taxes, stop lowering this, stop spending on this. Just like take your money, what we pay you every year. And I would say this to the government, I say like all the governments right now, right? Especially the Labour Party, right? Labour Party, if you want to make the country better, just take a holiday for the next 3 years. Just don't even come into work. Just leave us alone. Let us deal with this ourselves. You know, because we're going to be fighting World War III. The Gen Z are going to be fighting. If you're 30 and under, you're going to be fighting World War III. If you're maybe 30 or over, you're going to be fighting World War IV. Of course, there are going to be some deviations to this. Like me, I'll be a World War III guy, guys. You know, I'll be a World War III guys. I do international stuff, guys. I do. I feel more at home doing the international stuff here in the United Kingdom. It's like I can't really navigate the United Kingdom at the moment. Galloway Raider is saying, well, I know Galloway Raider's Scottish, so he's saying, hey, you wee pumper, Gen Z ain't doing nothing. Aye, they're nie good. Look, guys, I will counter that and I will say all my faith is in Gen Z. All my faith is in Gen Z. Googly saying Russian spies entering the UK using cargo ships. Guys, look, I don't know how long you guys have been following me, but I've been saying for a long time that the real threat the real naval threat comes from asymmetric naval warfare. And this is exactly asymmetric naval warfare. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic. You've been fantastic. You've been beautiful. You've been articulate. You've been intelligent. You guys have just been absolutely fantastic. Apparently, I'm going to France on Friday. Apparently, guys, I'm going to France on Friday. So I'll try and get you guys as much content with my... I'll get you guys as much content as I can going down there. I'll try and do the live streams down there as best I can. We'll see where we go, guys. We'll see where we go with that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now. You guys are fantastic. You're great. I will see you guys what day is it? I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 10. I will see you guys tomorrow evening at 8. I may not be able to see you guys on Friday because I may be traveling, but I will try and keep posted. I'll try and keep putting as many videos as I can to let you guys know of the progress. I'm going down there, guys. I'm going down there to France because I want to see for myself what's happening. I want to see what's happening in France. I want to see if things are as bad as the videos are showing. And I'm not doubting these guys. You know, I want to see if things are as bad as they say they are. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are fantastic. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. and I bid you good evening.